Hi, I'm Crystal Gilbert, and welcome to this short video presentation that will help you to decide for yourself if the aroma freedom technique is right for you. So I totally get that right now, especially in the times we're in, that time and money is a precious commodity. So you're going to want to know exactly what you're going to be getting and if it's even a good choice for you. So throughout this presentation, it's very short, so don't worry. It's going to get right to the point and go a bit further down into how this actually can apply to your life and help you. So if you have not checked out my personal AFT story yet, make sure you do this right after you watch this, because that gives you my full account of the transformation of how I use the aroma freedom technique to get me through some really big stuff in my life, to work through it, and to get to the point that I'm at now, where I incorporate it into my daily life and how I'm using this to thrive in these uncertain times. So I am a certified aroma freedom technique practitioner. I have been for a few years, and I love seeing the transformations in my own clients' lives, not just for myself, but in everyone I come in contact with. There has not been one person that has fully been engaged in this that has not come out of it transformed. So the more sessions a person does, the more they work on the layers, the better and more amazing that transformation is. So let's get into just real briefly who created the aroma freedom technique. So if you've never seen any other video, we're going to talk about Dr. Benjamin Purkis right now, and you're going to get introduced to him. So this is Dr. Purkis, and he's been a clinical psychologist in practice since 1995. He's been an essential oil user and teacher since 2001, has trained in multiple traditional and alternative approaches, even getting trained in EMDR and different things that has been incorporated or resembles the end version of aroma freedom technique. So he's pulled from all of his wealth of training to create this amazing technique. He's also an internationally recognized teacher and trainer, also author of the book, The Aroma Freedom Technique, Using Essential Oils to Transform Your Emotions and Realize Your Heart's Desire. He's the creator of the Aroma Freedom Academy. So what he did was take his practice and use his love of oils, putting it into this practice and his understanding of how the memory works. And he saw such a transformation in his own clients' lives that he actually has stopped practicing psychology and is now just doing aroma freedom technique full time, teaching it, training people, getting practitioners, building this whole community of this amazing technique. So the core of it is really understanding the emotion-body connection, part of the memory complex. So how is it connected to memory? First, you have to understand a few things, that every emotion has a physical expression, and you help identify where those negative feelings are showing up in our bodies. And the feeling might show specific posture, position, or subtle clenching of the jaw. And it's also possible to feel in several places at once, or tingling, rushing, or energy all over. So how memory and emotions are stored and connected in our body is a huge part of the aroma freedom technique. So then there's the memory complex. It helps to identify the negative voice, the emotion, how we feel that emotion show up in the body, and the memory that comes up when we allow ourselves to surrender and experience them. And in dissolving the memory complex, the intentional use of essential oils during the aroma freedom technique process is what makes it so powerful. So Dr. Purkis originally created a 12-step process using a non-invasive and gentle approach to help connect feelings, memory, thought, and where it's stored in the body, combined with essential oils to bring about a simple and gentle way to release the stored memories, thoughts, emotions that no longer serve the person. And that's what is known as the original traditional aroma freedom technique. So again, it became so powerful that he did leave his full-time job as a psychologist in order to do this. Thankfully, because the world needs it right now. So there are currently 6 versions or 6 techniques within the aroma freedom technique. So we're going to go through those just a little bit. And once you get through this, you're really going to see how or which one may fit best for you or how you can incorporate this into your daily life. So first is the memory resolution technique. And it's used for those who feel haunted by the past, when past memories have a high emotional charge, commonly experiencing flashbacks, nightmares, painful or upsetting memories, and there's a need to clear them out to move forward. So it does not erase the memory in its entirety. What it does is just help to clear out the negative charge that keeps it popping up to be dealt with. So it's akin to the analogy of sifting through old baggage in order to properly deal with it once and for all. So this can happen within minutes, even for the most painful or upsetting of memories. And this is my own experience. Some things that were deep rooted in there that were very, very painful for me or very traumatic. I was able to go in there and do this process. And, within 5-10 minutes, I was cleared out and feeling freer and lighter than I'd ever felt before. So it is the memory resolution technique, but to shorten it, we call it TMRT. So next is aroma clear. And aroma clear is good for those who often feel triggered and have a very strong emotional response that's out of proportion to the reality of the problem. So that's a key factor there. So for those who have an emotional response that's out of proportion to the reality of the actual problem. So for instance, this would be like the crying over spilt milk, going on a social media tirade over one triggering post, or yelling at the kids when they're loud, things like that that shouldn't normally trigger someone, but are way out of proportion. The response is out of proportion to the actual problem. So who doesn't need this in their lives, right? So then there's the aroma reset. And this is probably one of my favorite ones to do just because it's so simple and quick. This can literally be done in a minute. So this is for when you are feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, or just stressed or anxious about a particular situation and is keeping you in a state of that feeling that you need to shake off. Like you're not balanced, but you can't just shake it off. You've tried and it's not just working. So this is for the stressed out mom who never gets more than a minute alone, to the frustrated worker dealing with a tough working environment or a toxic working environment. This technique can be done in the bathroom, in the shower, or even on a lunch break, in the car before a stressful meeting, in the morning, right before bed, coming home from work, or right in the middle of a tense situation. So this can be used at any time, any place, anywhere. And once you learn more about this, if you do decide to have a session or learn how to do these things for yourself, I will give you a very handy trick on how you can easily take this with you wherever you go. If you are that mom who never gets a minute alone, you can do this. If you are rushing, have all this stuff to do, you can do this. So that's what this is for, and it's amazing. I actually use this on my own husband too. When he comes in from work and has had a bad experience and it just stays with him, I'll sit him down and have him walk through an aroma reset, and it helps get him balanced and able to leave work at work and be able to come home and be fully present with the family, which is really important. So next is the aroma boost. And I will say that this now is what I'm using more than any other technique. Before, I was just using the TMRT and the original AFT the most. Now it is the reset but mostly the boost, and you'll learn why in just a minute. So the aroma boost tackles procrastination. So it's good for those who know they need to do something, but are delaying or just not doing it. It is for when there is a lack of focus or a desire to get something done. And the process takes about 15 minutes. It varies, but it's about 15 minutes and it crushes procrastination, no joke. This is why I use it so much. So, even being so powerful that it can lead to wanting to rush to get that thing done. So, it's almost like that busy worker bee kind of thing. Like you're just in there, you're in the zone, you're ready to go, you're on fire and ready to do that thing that needs to get done. So it can lead to you being totally pumped up and ready to go. So this is absolutely for motivation. And also, again, like the focus and clarity. So if you're feeling all scattered and all over the place and just stuck and not going anywhere, this helps you to get focused and motivated to move forward. And I will give you a little warning that this is not something you want to do right before you're going to bed. You want to do this right before, if possible, right before you are ready to do that task. So for me, like say I was using this for an exam, right before I go to sit down and study for my exam and do the work, I am going to do an aroma boost and knock that sucker out. It works. So next is the actual aroma freedom technique, the original and traditional one, shortened to AFT just for ease of saying this. So this is best for those who are feeling stuck and not reaching their goals in life. If you have a specific goal that you want to achieve, but you're not achieving it and you don't really know why. So this is the 12-step process for setting goals and achieving them, discovering what limiting belief, mindset, or inner rule is keeping you stuck. This is for those that have the desire, they have a really strong desire, but just are not getting there. And it begins to feel frustrating, start to feel like you can't do it. And this can actually be used in every single aspect of life, from business to health and fitness to relationships, so on and so forth. So whatever there's a goal for, this can be used for. And this is set just a little bit in the future. So it's where you want to be, but you're not there yet. And this helps bridge the gap. So this one is absolutely incredible. And it can take, this is longer. It does take longer. So anywhere from 30 minutes to 90 minutes. And it all just depends on how much is there and everything related and attached. But this is the big one right here. Really good for pretty much anything you can think of. And now the last one. So far, as I'm saying this, this is the last one that has been created by Dr. Perkis, and only in this past year in 2020. Very appropriate, don't you think? So it's called the Doomsday Technique. And Dr. Perkis created this because it's based on those who are worried about the future, those who are worried about things to come or things to pass. And there's just a general uncertainty. So those who are worried, stressed, fearful about the future, their health, that of a loved one, things going on in the world, or just a growing sense of unease even. So even if you just wake up and you just feel off and you feel anxious or whatever, kind of a growing sense of dread, this is the one you're going to want to use. So it's being stuck in all the thoughts of potential bad things that could happen. So if you watch the news and your mind starts racing and you're not sleeping at night, or you can't function, you're not able to enjoy your kids because you're all caught up in the news, the what ifs, this, and that scenario, and the what could be, this is the technique for you. All right. So this tackles the what ifs and the worst case scenario, but it's done in a gentle way. Every bit of the aroma freedom technique, every single process is in a very gentle, non-invasive way. And it's very, very quick too. That does walk a person safely through those thoughts of worry and everything else, and allows them to feel a sense of balance and peace about that. And there can even be some revelations or realizations about action steps, things that need to be done to help the situation. So that's the aroma freedom technique and all the sub techniques in itself. Now, as a whole, every person is going to have a different experience with it, but it's all going to be effective. And it's also about what you're willing to do if you're ready to take a look inside yourself and face those demons or whatever it is. And it's super simple. And I want to make sure to clarify too, in case you have not watched some of the other videos about what exactly it is, which I encourage you to do that. But real quick, I do want to throw it out that this is not therapy. You're not sitting there across from a practitioner, across from me, telling me your whole life story. That actually hinders the process more than anything. The more I know, the more any practitioner knows about a client and their situation, the worse it is, because it's not anything to do with therapy. So the practitioner just helps guide through the process to have the best benefit and result possible, but we are not therapists. So if you, especially if you have gone through something very traumatic or you don't want to talk about it, this is the place for you, because you are not required to talk about it. So sometimes people do feel kind of in awe, or they process by talking things out. I'm one of those people. So it's better for me to kind of make sense of it and talk out, but that's not therapy. So this is a safe place where you can come and get help and have some clarity and go through this amazing process while still preserving your own feelings of privacy and maybe things you just don't want to vocalize. And that's totally okay. And it's actually encouraged. So what next? You've gone through all of those things. And now these do use essential oils. This is all a form of aromatherapy. Obviously, the aroma freedom technique is built on aromatherapy. So if any of the above 6 definitions of the 6 techniques describe you, then you know that AFT is right for you, that AFT can help you. So it may be one day it's a TMRT, one day it's an AFT, one day it's a boost, one day it's all doomsday. But whatever it is, you can see how this really touches on every single aspect of life. I have used all of these different techniques for my own life, and daily, again, I'm using some form of it in my life. So if you would like more information, if you would like to go deeper, you can definitely schedule a one-on-one session with me. So just email me at thevinewellnessllc@gmail.com and just put the subject AFT in there so it doesn't get lost, and I'll make sure to have it as a priority. Okay, so this can also be done for group sessions that are tailored to specific needs, like children. There's a different variation of the aroma freedom technique used for children. You can do some on cravings, for business, for almost like a vision board, or just overall business productivity, getting creative ideas. For PTSD, there are so many different subgroups that AFT can be tailored for to really help people and meet them where they're at and get them closer to where they want to go. So there's also special bundle coaching discounts. Now, AFT in itself is an amazing tool. One session is very, very powerful, but as I'm sure you know, there are layers to your life. There are layers of hurt, of pain, of trauma, of different things that have gone on in your life, things that have stuck, things people have said over you, limiting beliefs. There are layers. So that's why in this scenario, it is more effective to have more sessions. So, and if they're routinely, you can continue doing that work. whether you want to do an intensive, something has to change. You can do once a week for 6 weeks an intensive. You can do spread out over 10 weeks, every other week. You can do once a month for however long. So I will tailor these to your needs, to your budget, and get you the best help and the benefits that you possibly need. So that's it for now. I hope you have a much clearer understanding of whether this can help you or not. So for now, I'll sign off. And again, I'm Crystal Gilbert, and thank you for joining me for this. Please contact me, reach out to me if you have any questions, comments whatsoever. Thanks so much.